Hi, Usha.
Hi, Keiko. How are you?
Yes, I'm good. How about you?
I'm good, thank you. Thank you for having me here
Yeah,
on your podcast. Very special occasion today.
yeah, you're welcome. And I'm very happy to have you here to, yeah, share your story and inspired those people that been through a challenging time in their life or huge transformation in their life. And before I go on, let me read about your bio. Having spent the majority of her life in the United Kingdom, Ousha Demello was a former business lecturer and worked in the educational sector for over 15 years, only to have minus in her bank account every month. She then decided to go into entrepreneurship. She is now an inspirational business trainer, international public speaker, number one international best-selling author and publisher, a wife and a proud mom. Usha, share with the audience how you're able to step into the breakthrough.
Wow, that's quite a big question because breakthrough happens in different stages in different ways for different people. So when I say something bad happened to me, you might be, or when you think something bad is happening to you, you might be thinking this is the worst thing, ever. And but when you realize that other people are actually going through 10 times worse, so that actually makes it different. So how did I go for my breakthrough is about a decade ago, I actually was in a very bad relationship. I was going through emotional abuse and financial abuse. And at the time, then, I wasn't really fully aware of what was happening to me, but I just knew something was really, really wrong. Now, we all talk about values and beliefs and all of these things, and we talk about mindset. I think it's being taught so much that sometimes we underestimate it. And at the time when I was going through a very bad situation and I was in a very bad state, I did not understand all of that, but now I do understand that it all works. So, for example, my beliefs and my values was always happiness and peace. Always has always been. And when I was in a really, really bad relationship and, I wasn't being treated well, it was making me very unhappy. And, automatically that is a value disalignment where something is going wrong. And that's what causes stress, causes, anger, sadness, and, a lot of problems in, the situation that you are in. And to be honest, it's not just about the feeling, but when you actually, manage to understand that something is wrong, something is not aligned, and something needs to be changed, that's how you break through to your situation. And the next thing is to be able to ask for help. That's one thing other people don't do. And I'm very cautious about this because I know sometimes we say, trouble shared is a trouble halved, but trouble shared could also be a trouble double. So that's what I'm very cautious about. I'm always encouraging people go ask for help. And that's what I did. And that's when I was able to come out of my bad relationship. However, I was very cautious about who I asked for help. You have to make sure that people are fit for the purpose of what you need them for, and then go for ask for help. And something else I think that I'm very in tuned in is my intuition. So, people will give you help, people will give you advice of what they think is right, but it doesn't necessarily mean that it's right for you. It doesn't mean that they're trying to give you bad advice. People are trying to do their best for you, but you have to follow your instinct and understand. So, I actually very selectively choose who I'd ask advice for, and then I do listen to all of them, but in the end, I make my own decisions.
Yeah, it's
Third
important
thing
to
I
make your own decision.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah,
Do not let other people decide for you because you have to follow your intuition. Sometimes you will understand and know when something is wrong. So,
that's right.
yeah, I had loads of advice. And to be honest, I still love those people who gave me the bad advice because, they were trying their best. They wanted to help me. And sometimes asking people, like, for example, if I'm suffering and I go to my mum will give me the right advice, but the advice will be interfered and influenced by her emotions for me. You understand?
Yeah, and also by her experience.
Yes. So
Yeah,
so that's why sometimes you have to be so cautious about who you ask advice for. Take your time, ask for advice, but choose carefully who you want to who's fit for that advice. Some people are good in
yeah,
different areas, so you have to do that. And the third thing I
and
did, yeah, to
yeah,
break
and
through this is to
also,
really,
before I forget, just now you mentioned about intuition,
yeah.
and how intuition plays a role in your life.
Oh, I think there's people who have different level of intuition. I'm very, very intuitive. So I do think with my brain, but I also know my heart is always right as well. So just, if you're not sure if you're intuitive or not, sometimes you've just gotta stop and think. It's just like when I spoke to you earlier about, my values. Let's say my values is happiness, and I'm really, really unhappy in a relationship. Obviously, there's value misalignment. So same thing for your intuition. If you are doing something from your brain and you made a decision and then you're feeling that it's wrong, again there is a misalignment. So
Yes,
what you've got to do is really stop, think, and again, you know people I think don't use it enough, and I actually find these things later in life. I was applying it before but I did not understand what it meant, but now when I understood it, it helped me make the right decisions. So if you feel, it's a feeling. Intuition is just a feeling of, how are you feeling about it? I think something is right or something is exciting, but doesn't necessarily means it's right if you think properly about, if, like, for example, if you're taking risk, take calculated risk. You understand? So my intuition say,
yes,
if I take that risk, that's going to work. But then use the brain to understand the side effects, the consequences. So you've got to use it in the right way. So, but in my experience, my brain sometimes, may not be correct, but my intuition is always. So I do follow my heart a lot. But I make it work together. It's really important, especially in very, very important decisions. And I think if you have
yeah,
your
I
brain, your
agree.
intuition, and understand your values, if you have that circle, there's no way you could get things wrong when you make the right, like, important decisions.
Yeah, I agree. Because at times it's like our heart is the inner compass.
Yes.
So it's important to let the heart lead the way rather than the brain lead the way.
Yeah,
And
definitely.
how you gain clarity in what you love doing?
Clarity in what I learned to love doing. So that didn't come straight away, obviously. So I've actually loved doing what I do every time I've done something. And what I've understood is you have to do it until you feel uncomfortable. Because if you're constantly comfortable in a situation, that means you're, or in a work or in anything that you're doing, that means you're not growing. So anywhere I've worked, I've always loved what I do. And when I wasn't loving what I do, I always moved. But education has always been, my heart. I've always loved to be an educator. So I've actually been a business lecturer for quite a long time. And I was actually quite comfortable, but that comfort zone wasn't right for me because I was always, I was earning quite a lot, but my expenses were quite high too. So every month I was finding myself, have minus bank account. And I thought, something had to be changed. And I don't think something is right. Then I realized there's two type of education. So I've educated myself quite a lot. I've got a lot of academic qualifications for me to, do what I do. And I used to be very proud of it until I realized there's two type of education. The first one is that teaches you how to earn a living. This is when we go to school, go to college, go to university, get a job. And even when you're getting a job, it's teaching you, your skills that you require for you to keep and maintain your job. And then you have one, and the second type of education is that teaches you how to live. And that's when I realized that this is what was missing. I learned how to earn a living, but I wasn't really living my full potential. And the second type of education is called personal development. And that's when I decided to come out of my comfort zone, I invested in mentorship, looking to people who's already walked the walk, who's already done things that you want to achieve. And then I met my amazing mentor, and his advice was valuable. He's fast tracked my success, and I went through public speaking course. And when I did my public speaking course, I was able to tell my story in a very powerful way. So, a decade ago, when I was in my really abusive relationship, for a decade, I was quiet about it. I moved on in life. I was good. But deep down, I was ashamed about it. I never talked about it. I was even ashamed to say I was divorced. I was ashamed to say that I was a victim of, domestic violence. When I realized, when I did public speaking, I actually realized that I'm not a victim. I'm actually strong because I came out of it. Victim is when you are still in the problem. I'm not a victim. And I realized that I have to change the way I tell my story. And that's how it all started. So I changed. So I retired from my business lecturing job. I started teaching my own program, and then when I told my story, I decided to write my own story and write my book. And that
That's
book became
nice.
number one international bestseller, in many categories, amazing categories, and different countries. So that became so successful that other people start coming to ask me for some advice of what to do, and that became a passion of mine. And now I became a publisher. So I didn't really, look for my purpose. My purpose found me. And I think that's the key in life is, and I'm not saying this is my purpose for life because we are always evolving, but the
That's right.
key
Yeah.
is you don't stop. You keep on moving, even if you haven't found your purpose yet. Even if you are not certain of what's happening right now, being in a situation and not doing anything about it is the biggest mistake you could do. So the first thing you could do is just keep on moving. Sometimes you might not be going in the direction that you thought you would, but if you're progressing in any way, you're exploring, even things that didn't work will give you clarity that wasn't for me. Instead of thinking about it later on, I could have done that, I could have done that. So the key is just to keep on moving, exploring, keep on
Yeah.
finding things to that will keep making you grow. It doesn't necessarily mean to that it's the right thing right now, but keep on moving, you know
Yeah.
and
Life
that's
is
what I focus
amazing,
on.
isn't it?
Yeah.
And at the same time, it's challenging.
Yeah, it is. Life is a challenge. But if you think about the big picture, it's always going to look scary. All you've got to do is take the baby steps. If you spoke
Yeah.
to me a couple of years earlier, like let's say about 4 years ago, and you
Yeah.
told me you need to, I will publish a book, my own book. I'll be publishing other people's book. That would have been scary for me.
That's
But
right.
what I did not focus on becoming a publisher because I didn't know it was going to come. But what I did is step by step, my story, I wrote it in my way, in a powerful way. And my purpose wasn't really for me, to be honest. I didn't write that book for me. I wrote the book for, my I thought about my daughter. If something happened to me, life is not guaranteed for anyone. So she will never understand what I went through and how I came out of it. What if this similar scenario happens to her? What about other people who are suffering in silence,
Yeah.
who needs help? Because the solution in your head, sorry, the information in your head, the experience that you've gone through is a solution to other people's problem. So, and I realized that, and I decided then to write my book. So it was the step by step. First started with understanding, acknowledging, you could change the story. Second is taking the step in writing and drafting it. Then you go through the publishing process, and then other people start asking for help, and you help them without, thinking about anything, just giving back. And then slowly, step by step, is the baby step that takes you to the main goal. Otherwise,
Agree.
everything is scary. Otherwise, no
Yes.
one is going to
Totally
do
agree.
anything.
Yes. Yeah. And what is the takeaway for our viewers?
See, repeat that question for me again.
What is the takeaway for our viewers?
The takeaway. So there's many, but I'll try to keep it as broad as I can. So one thing, and I'm just talking from my experience, and I know a lot of people have experience as well in different ways, which is pain. So everyone experience pain in different way. I just want the listeners to understand that pain is only temporary. Everything that comes will go. Everything that goes around comes around. So you know, you don't give pain to other people, because it's not good karma. But at the same time, if you are going through pain yourself, just push through, be patient. Sometimes that's probably the test for you. And if you manage to get through it, and I'm telling you, if you look back, you will see, like, anything you think that's really hard right now, just think of a time in your life where you thought, oh my God, that's hard. But then now you look back, oh, it was okay. I've learned this. So any pain that you're going through, just see, I know it's not a nice thing to go through, but try to keep push through, get help in with the right people that can help you overcome those pain. Stop, acknowledge, understand your own pain, and understand what your next step is going to be, and keep on moving forward. It's like
Yeah,
when
that
people
is
say,
that is so powerful.
yes, so if people, like people say, like, oh, I feel like hell. Yeah, if you feel like hell, then move. Why would you want to stay in hell? Heaven could be
That's
just
right.
few steps away. So
That's
move.
right.
And that's the key, is just to keep moving. And you don't have to take the big steps, but even the baby steps is the most powerful one. Learn every experience that you have, learn from everything. Don't blame other people for your pain. Maybe other people are giving you that pain, but it's not them. Your responsibility is yours, for you to heal yourself, not other people.
Yeah, I completely agree with that. And indeed, uh, let's if people can see pain is actually training us to be emotional intelligent,
Yes.
to be smart with our choice,
Mm-hmm.
and in future you choose the right choice rather than
Yes.
you go back to where you came.
Yeah, it's like people go to the gym. The more
Mm,
sometimes you gotta suffer. You gotta, you want to build muscles. Sometimes it's painful, but if you stop, then you're not going to carry on building your muscles, would you? So you just
yeah,
gotta carry on, and it gets easier. That's all. It
yeah.
just makes you stronger. It makes it easier. No one wishes pain on no one, but if it's there, it's there. Deal with it, and that's it.
Mm,
Just don't blame. Don't. One thing I did. My book is called Left in Peace, Not Pieces. What I
mm-hmm,
did, and my key has always been, because my core value is peace and happiness. And if I had to go back and fight and revenge and all of this, that would have impacted my peace and my happiness. So I chose to walk away in peace. And that's why my book is called Left in Peace, Not Pieces, because my husband tried everything to break me into pieces. But I had two choices. I could move on and look for a brighter future in peace,
mm,
or I could go back and revenge and stay angry and keep on carrying that baggage on my shoulders, that I would not
mm.
move on. So you've got to keep on looking forward and keep on moving on. I know it's easier said than done, but once you do it baby step, like I said, it
Mm.
will help eventually. So
It's like
that's really,
the other side of the pasture is nicer.
yeah, definitely. Yeah,
Oh,
and people gone through a lot. Every time when I go through some difficult situation, I always think about other people who's going through 10 times worse. They managed
yeah,
it. I
true.
can do it. And okay, what's the lesson in it? There must be a reason for, why I'm going through this. So if I'm suffering, I might as well make it something positive out of it. I might gain something out of it. That's how I look at things now. And that's, like you said, is building your emotional intelligence. As there's no right methods, because what works for me might not work for you. So you've got to find ways of, of working on it. But the key is learn about your mindset, understand your values very well, and see what works for you, like if you are an intuitive person. And I think that's the key for me. I do this for you, because there's so many bad decisions I made in life before, and it's
Agree.
because I wasn't looking into myself, tapping into myself. I was taking advice from here and then from people that I trust, but what about deep inside, when I knew I had to do something, but I chose to listen, you understand? So
Yeah. I
within
guess,
yourself, the answers is
yeah, I guess every one of us been through that period where listening uh, other people's suggestion and not knowing or not understanding that it's from their experience and not from our experience.
Yeah. And
Yeah.
like I said, like some people wants to start a business, for example.
Mm,
If you're going to ask close relatives who hasn't got a business and talk about the big ideas to people who don't understand it. So you want to get a mentor who's actually done it, who's someone who's successful, who's been through the same path. So you've got to really choose wisely who you ask advice for, and to just get mentors. Sometimes you got to invest, and that
true.
that investment is probably your key that's going to give you 10 times more ROI, so and
Mm,
ROT, return on your time. And that's what people sometimes don't realize. You're not just paying for the knowledge, you're actually saving yourself time, which is never going to come back.
agree. And how are you helping people right now?
So right now, I'm helping people with everything to do with their knowledge, information, lessons. So there's a couple of ways that I do it. The first is obviously I help them write a book, and the book is not just about story. It could be personal, just for story, but it could also be something that will help you build your business and grow your income. And the second thing is, again, with your information in your head, I help people monetize it. So it could be monetized in terms of in a course, workshop, but I help them build a blueprint where all the information, I know people have got so much experience, a pool of information, but how you give it out, you need to give it out in a structured way where you know how much to give for how much. And I help them just structure that information out from the head into something tangible and something that can they can earn from it.
There's a yeah great insight. And where can they find you?
So I am on social media. My name is displayed on the screen here, Ousha Demello. So it's at Ousha Demello on social media, Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. And my email address is success at theupliftacademy.com as well. So if anybody wants to email us.
Thank you for being in the program. And it's very nice to connect with you. And hopefully, in future, we will have a collaboration opportunity.
Yeah, definitely. Always good for
Yeah.
collaboration.
Okay. So,
Oh, thank you so much, Kiko. Thank you for having me here today. It's been amazing. And thank you for doing what you do and sharing, and serving your audience in such a beautiful
yeah,
way.
I hope I'm able to inspire people that went through a huge, challenging journey, and they are able to look for opportunities and what do they love doing, and help them to go through the breakthrough.
Yeah,
Yeah.
amazing.
So thank you so much, and I wish you a wonderful day ahead.
Thank you so much. And you too. Take care
Mm,
of yourself.
bye.
Bye.